One family, one people, one planet, one love, one family, one people, one planet, one love. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to SoulCall Sunday. My name is Lisa Ferraro. I am the founder and spiritual director of SoulCall Ministries. You could find out more about us at soulcallministries.org. Thank you for joining us this morning. This morning's topic is awakened doing. Awakened doing. And I'm thinking about awakened doing and wondering how you're doing. How was your week? Many of us were out and about more this week than we have been in a while, in the United States especially. And I know I've got, just to keep it interesting, I've got a variety of different masks that I wear different places, practicing social distancing and responsibility. Can be a little stressful for some people. We're getting some emails for prayer. If you need some help along those lines, just send us an email at info@soulcallministries.org and we will pray for you if you put in a prayer request. I just know that we are here for you, praying 24/7. Somebody around the globe is saying prayers, and we want you to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. The reason I bring this up is because the subject today is awakened doing, asking how you're doing. And part of what moves us into awakened doing, what is awakened doing? It's a new consciousness, and it's arising from the time now as the old thing dissolves, the old way of doing things, the old way of being. We're seeing hierarchies kind of crumble, things that we felt confident with, that would be around to take care of us, perhaps. We're not so confident in those, so it's finding this inner confidence, waking up. And could our doing come from an awakened purpose where the me has become the we? The me has become the we, and our actions naturally unfold from the servant's heart. So the me becoming the we, if we start to take this apart a little bit, how does the me become the we? I think part of the reason I bring up the mask this week is, it's not just about the me. By protecting the me, I protect the we as well. It's these little things that we do. It's the little things we do with great presence, is what Mother Teresa said. It's not these great big things. And so awakened doing is doing things with a more conscious presence. Being aware of what we're doing while we're doing it, with whom we're doing it. Yeah. What if it's not all about me? So one of the ways I'm thinking about this is moving from, a lot of time people will say, "What's mine?" Little kids, you'll hear little kids sometimes run into a room maybe with presents and say, I remember growing up with my siblings on Christmas morning, we would run into the living room where there would be 5 stacks of toys, with 1 stack for each child. And we would say, "Where's mine? Where's mine?" Or "What's mine? What's mine?" And now we're saying to go from what's mine to what's mine to do here. Maybe what is ours to do, or going from what's mine to what's mine to do, to become the collective we, this collective consciousness. A tall order, especially when there's a subconscious and very conscious level of stress. Some therapists would liken that to trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can only do that for so long before it erupts. And recognizing that we're holding this certain amount of stress. There was stress involved in staying home, quarantining. Now there's a certain level of stress as we move back out into the world. So recognizing what's mine in compared to what's mine to do in this moment. And one of the things I like to say is finding a practice where we begin to take the individual, the small s self, and getting the ego in service to the soul. Getting the ego in service to the soul. And there are many ways we could do this. It's easy when we think about what's mine to do is right in front of me. If we just practice it like that. I know in the morning, I don't listen to the radio or watch television very much at all. I'm informed, but I'm choosy about where I get my information. And I'm pretty much interested in what is mine to do as I participate every day with the presence of the infinite. So I'm more in tune with the Godhead, Goddess, Source, one consciousness. It's a cosmic consciousness. It's beyond a mind. It's not a one mind. A mind is a construct of human beings. It's a consciousness. There's a knowing in there. And when we stay fine-tuned to the language of our hearts, which gets us in contact with our soul, what our soul's calling is to do is to stay in tune with that cosmic vibration of God. It's not cosmic. It is cosmic, but when I say that, I don't mean it's something out there that's magical, mystical, woo-woo. It's very concrete. It's as simple as saying, rather than turning on the radio in the morning and having somebody else tell me what my day is about or directing my thoughts right off the bat, I'm going to choose to go within. I am going to be present as I do simple things. So I started to adopt the practice a long time ago, and we're doing this in my class. We've got one more week of the Rumi class, and where we're practicing the presence using a book called Living Presence by Kabir Helminski, and how to develop that presence, that awakened doing, would be more like asking a question or recognizing everything you're doing for God or for consciousness itself. So that creates presence. I am washing the breakfast dishes for God. I am brushing my teeth for God. I am going for a walk around the block for God, with God, as God, all of those things. But with the consciousness of staying in tune with the force that powers everything, that powers us all. You know, we eat food and we think it's our body that digests food. It's the energy in our body that digests the food. And the mitochondria in our cells, you can't really see that, but it converts it to energy so that we can move. So if we started practicing, like one simple practice in the art of awakened doing is to pay attention with what is right in front of you, what you're doing in the moment. That's what's yours to do. I remember some years ago now, I was driving through a neighborhood and it started to rain. And there was a gentleman carrying bags of groceries. And it looked like it was about to be a torrential downpour. And I pulled over without even thinking about it. And he was an older gentleman. And I said, would you like a ride to where you're going? You're going to get caught in the rain. And he looked at me as curious as you could imagine, because I wasn't afraid to ask a man to get into my car, you know? And he did it. And he was so grateful. I drove him right to his house and helped him carry his groceries up the steps. And then I went along my way. That was mine to do in the moment. That's called practicing the presence. Being present with what is. So to be awakened, Llewellyn Vaughan Lee, who is a Sufi teacher also, says, to be awake is to respond to the need of the moment. To be awake is to respond to the need of the moment. And in this moment, the world needs us. We can deny the call of the soul of the world no longer. The soul of the world is each individual we come in contact with. We are part of that whole, part of the whole. So another thing to do is, imagine everything you do today or this week, just think of doing it for the thought of pleasing God or the God in others, pleasing God or the God in others, but just practicing the presence, the I am statements. I am walking for God. I am working for God. I am singing for God. I know when I'm teaching students a new song, I'll talk to them about sometimes they'll ask, how many times do you think I need to sing this? I said, you need to sing it until it starts singing you. When it wakes you up in the middle of the night and you can't get it out of your head, then the song is starting to sing you. Now you've got a relationship with it. So it's cultivating this relationship with God that will bring this awakening to your doing. Awakened doing is practicing with, I remember when I was in high school, I had a softball coach who was probably single-handedly one of the biggest mentors of my life. She changed my life in such a way. She ignited the soul in me to not just listen to one particular soul call, but everything I do, I'm either doing it or I'm not doing it. I don't halfway anything. Those of you who know me know that's true. If I'm in, I'm in. I'll think about it for a minute and I'll weigh it out. But once I'm committed, I don't hesitate. I go for it. And one of the words that I remember one particular afternoon, I'm not sure what they served for lunch in the cafeteria that day, but I think the whole team must have eaten too much of it. So at 3:30 in the afternoon when we're having softball practice, it wasn't as, enthusiastic as usual. And that was the word. She made us all go home and come back the next day with a definition of what enthusiasm means, because she just wasn't seeing it. And it was funny and weird at the same time, but we all came back, and the definition of that word, and I loved enthusiasm is intense enjoyment, interest, or approval. Intense enjoyment, interest, or approval. But the original, it's interesting to note that the word was originally used to refer to a person possessed by God or someone exhibiting intense piety. Wow. Enthusiasm, somebody who's possessed or in possession of God. The consciousness is participating with source energy at all times. Active listening is another way to say it, but being fully present with what is. And the other thing about my softball coach was she did not accept mental errors at all, ever. It would be one thing, if somebody cracked a ball so hard and it skipped and hit you and you booted it or something like that, a physical error on the field. She wasn't really thrilled with those either, to be honest. However, she was more accepting of those because these things could happen. But a mental error, she would never approve of those. Why? She wanted us to play with enthusiasm and intensity. Enthusiasm and intensity, this awakened doing, bringing that awareness of the possession of the God which resides within and without into perfect alignment through this being. Spirit, mind, body. Spirit, mind, body. Playing with such intensity that all you see is what the outcome is. She used to grill us on if a ball was hit to third base and or bunted down the third base line and there's a runner on first, the bunt always would go to one. No matter what, the bunt goes to one. The bunt goes to one. Bunt goes to one. So much so that it became, second nature. The bunt goes to one. That was it. There was no thinking anymore. So the mental errors. So it's kind of like meditation. If you can get with, I'm doing this for God, the way she got us to think, the bunt goes to one. There's a different way of playing. It ignites a confidence, and it produces something else that we need in awakened doing. Awakened doing isn't always easy. Why? Because it might call on you to do something differently in the presence of many who are going one way. You might be the one with the awakened doing, practicing the enthusiastic presence and with intensity to say, I believe we could consider going this way, or I know this is the way. I don't know how I know, I just know it. That takes great courage. It takes courage to do a new thing. It takes courage to take something that's already been done and take it out to its growing edge. I say this to my coaching clients all the time. When something, it's overcoming obstacles, having the courage to change. My friend wrote a beautiful song called Courage to Change, Natalia. There we are with the courage to change is the courage to practice awakened doing sometimes asks us in the moment to do that which is right in front of us, which might be something we've never done before. But having the courage to know that you're being divinely guided will give you the energy and the strength to take that step. Once you take this step forward, the horizon shifts. In Qigong, we practice first. Qigong is a method of working with energy. It's a Chinese system. One of the first things they ask us to do is to cast your eyes, the vision of your eyes. Deborah Weisenberger-Lippitz shared this with us on Wake Up, the Consciousness Cafe last week. Cast your eyes to the horizon and then pull it in. So already you've got this awakened expansion of your consciousness. So what I would ask my students is, this obstacle that's coming is for you, because it's right here. How is it for you? What will you know, and how will you grow after having participated with this experience? With awakened doing, you'll have the courage to take the next step when an obstacle presents. And if in the background of your mind, I'm taking this next step for God, you could have the confidence that you've got, whatever kind of imagery you need to summon what you need to take the hero's journey, as Joseph Campbell would say, the great writer of comparative mythology, Joseph Campbell. He wrote a great book called The Hero with 1,000 Faces. That's you. That's me. We're all here on the hero's journey. In awakening the presence with awakened doing, we're taking this hero's journey of fulfilling the calling of our soul. Whatever that is in the moment, the soul is calling you to be authentic and to do what is right in front of you at the moment. That's what's yours to do. I know sometimes what is ours to do does require us to leave a specific area and go do that thing. But in the process of doing that thing, there were a lot of the bigger thing. There are a lot of little things that happen along the way. You'll meet lots of people along the way. I call them sacred synchronicities. The people we meet along the way of doing the one thing we set out to do. In every great story, every epic hero's journey, the spiritual warrior is met with some people who help them easily.
Bye-bye, boys!
Have fun storming the castle!
And other people who give them challenges.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle. Bye-bye!
But also help them. It's summoning this courage, this strength, this being present in the moment that allows for the awakening, for the awakened doing. Overcoming obstacles. So being present with them, Rumi would say, invite an unexpected guest in and ask it what is here to show me. Find the antidote in the venom. Also, find the antidote in the venom. What seems, the spiritual warrior and the hero, we all love that. We love to see the hero's journey end in a victory. Why? Because it resonates with something in our subconscious mind. Carl Jung would talk about that, the symbolism of it. And so participating with awakened doing is summoning forth from within that active listening, taking those steps to stay in tune with what's happening. Yeah. Thinking about that. Just take a moment to consider what is coming up for you as you take these next steps. We're all taking hero's journeys in a way, taking our steps out into the world with new eyes. We've awakened to a realization that we are all one soul. We are all one human race, no matter where we are on the planet. None of us has been untouched by COVID-19. Some of us, it's being affectionately referred to as the COVID-19 extra pounds. I mean, it's been, something in our subconscious mind does that too. There's a great book written by Joseph Chilton Pierce called The Biology of Transcendence, where he talks about how our subconscious mind, if there's a threat to humanity, certain things start to show up in different cultures in different ways. And when there's a threat to us, sometimes the existing consciousness of the planet will gain a few extra pounds if they think there's going to be an experience of lack or not enough. It's just wired into us somehow. Somehow, it's an interesting statement, because what awakened doing is calling us to do is to participate with the energy of what that somehow is, and to become more familiar with it and say, I know what it is. It's the God as it speaks through me, as it sings through me, as it works through me. lives, moves, has its being as me. And it's the God that I'll fall back into when I leave this body. It's the energy that goes on. And to do it, awakened doing means being fully present in the moment. Not thinking of the past, not thinking of the future. When we think of anything but the present, it's difficult to not operate out of fear. When you're thinking in the past, you have no power in the present moment to affect what's going to happen in the future. A very deep experience of that for me was in the hospice during the transition of my late wife, Erika. I remembered one of the nights there, I got up from beside her bed and just went to lie on the couch just to stretch my body. It was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I picked up the phone and just started looking at Facebook because we were into the practice of reading beautiful posts to her during the day so she could hear the words people were sending her, so much love. And people were posting photographs of us in performance mode from years prior. And I was suddenly struck with such intense sadness, overwhelming sense of loss for what could never happen again. That was never going to happen again. And no matter what I wished for, willed for, that particular experience of my life was not going to come back. Then I swept right through the present moment, went into the future and thought, oh my God, what am I going to be doing? Like what is my life going to be like without Erika? I can't even imagine it. Of course I couldn't. And right before I was totally going to lose it, I was starting to take deep breaths and I was crying. God comes right in and says, stay fully present in the moment. This is exactly what it said, like stay in the moment. And she's still here. She's right there. Be with what is. Be with what is today. Be with what is tomorrow. It doesn't mean you're going to love what you're participating with. Yeah, that wasn't the words of God. I'm saying this with you right now. It doesn't always mean we like it, but participating with what is gives us that opportunity to take the direction of source. Sometimes you just have an intuitive hit about something. We don't even know why we're doing a thing. It's just, I feel exactly like I need to go do this. But staying fully present in the moment allowed me to stay in tune with Erika. And we were so present with each other. So very present that I can still tune into her anytime now, anywhere, because she's still in that field of love. So bringing this beautiful presence to it. The Quran has this wonderful saying in it, and Erika and I put it into a song off our Leaning Toward the Good CD, and it's called Greedy. And the song is called Greedy, and the saying we put in there was, every time you take one step toward the infinite, it takes 1,000 toward you, running. It's that horizon. It's casting out to the edge and allowing the horizon and the future to come rushing toward you because you moved, you had the courage, and the courage gave you the energy to take the next step because you had the enthusiasm of knowing and the intensity of focus, knowing that you're here for God. God is with you. And whatever you want to call that, some of us call God music. Some of us call God gardening. It's whatever brings you in fully in touch with the present moment. And that's how we like to experience it. So we're going to take this into a meditation with the song Greedy, written by myself and Erika Luckett. Enjoy and allow this just to wash over you.
Greedy for you, I want you at every turn, and what your pulse inside my veins. Feel your teardrops in the rain. And where you walk, then I will go there too. I'm greedy for you. I want you near as my bones and teeth. You're the air I breathe, and as I breathe, I take in more of you. I wanna feel your voice inside my skin. Hear your silence deep within. I'll carry you the way you carry me. Oh, 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 oh. Every time that I reach for you, every step that I take toward you, you take 1,000 toward me, running. Every time that I reach for you, every step that I take toward you, every step that I take toward you, you take 1,000 toward me, running.
And bringing your consciousness back to the present moment and practicing the presence, practicing awakened doing. Do everything you do this week with the consciousness of I am doing this for God, or bringing light. Sometimes light is another way of practicing the presence. As you take steps, light up the walkway with your feet. Every time you step, make it light, and step, make it light, step, make it light. I know every time I would go up and down stairs, on every step, I say, God, 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 God. And in the background of your mind, when it's idling, when you're not thinking of anything but God, God is thinking you. God is thinking, God is being, God is awakened, God's source, goddess, whatever you want to call it. It's got many, many different names, and none at all. You know when you know, and may that knowing be easy for you this week. Thank you for joining us again for Soul Call Sundays. If you would like to donate to help keep our ministry helping the communities that we serve, please go to soulcallministries.org/give or /donate. But if you go to soulcallministries.org, there's a button you can click at the bottom of every page. I want to thank everyone who is donating to SoulCall Ministries. We're going to be doing this week, the Soul Squad is going to be out in force, doing another juice drop. If you would like to participate in Columbus, Ohio with the next juice drop, drop us a line at info@soulcallministries.org. We would love to have you. Our Soul Squad is growing and growing. And what I love most about the Soul Squad, I have to just say this, it's the intergenerational group of people. It's like we are stretching community to recognize we're all in this thing together, this whole thing called life, and the wisdom sharing has been amazing. So I ask you to join us to do that. And this week on Wisdom Wednesday, Reverend Christy Hardwick welcomes Reverend Temple Hayes from St. Petersburg, Florida, for Wake Up with the Consciousness Cafe at 7 a.m. That's May 27th. Two bright lights. Temple Hayes is a pretty amazing force. You're going to want to check in on her wisdom. She's fantastic. And then Wednesday evening, join us for another soul session, 7 p.m. Music, poetry, and meditation. Please subscribe to us here at YouTube. We appreciate that. And share us with your friends. If you'd like to join our newsletter, once again, you can click SoulCallMinistries.org, send us an email at info@SoulCallMinistries.org, or there's a place on the website where you could sign up for the newsletter. And a couple classes coming up with Reverend Christy Hardwick. It's Nutrition and Prosperity, Wellness and Prosperity. And David Leonard and I are going to start a new class together called Catching the Thread. And it's going to run through the summer. Both have more information online. Once again, I want to thank you all for being with us this morning. If you wouldn't mind, please go to Facebook, like us, comment, and share with your friends. SoulCall Ministries. Like, comment, and share us with your friends, and we'll enter you into a drawing to participate in one of the classes for free. So help us spread the word about SoulCall. And if you would like for SoulCall to help organize juice drops or help someone in your community who's in need, because our tithes go right back to the community, we invite you to reach out to us, and we'll help you get organized wherever you are on the planet. So have a very brilliant week. Love, peace, and many, many blessings. Know that you are loved, and practice your awakened doing. Until next time, namaste.